So I'm Leah,
Okay.
and this is Wesley, and we're joined right now with Emily Achterkirch from the Rogers Royals high school head coach. So first question, why did you want to become a coach?
I really wanted to give back to the sport of hockey. I learned a lot about hockey and life from my coaches, and I felt like being a female coach was important to female athletes, and I saw an opportunity to give back and really fell in love with it and enjoy doing it every day.
Awesome. Yeah, and did you take like any like philosophies or principles from Princeton like into coaching this girls' high school team here?
Yes, definitely. There was a lot I learned from my coaches there, my teammates there. Um, really how to balance being a student and an athlete and doing all of that at a high level, really translated into being a coach for a high school team.
How was your process to getting to Princeton? What was that like playing
Oh
there?
man. So I was getting recruited probably starting my freshman or sophomore year, and I knew for a long time that I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. And Princeton was one of very few schools that allowed me to study engineering while also playing Division I hockey. And Princeton really just checked all the boxes, and they wanted me too. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a big
awesome.
part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. We had another one here for you, and it's what approach do you take when your team is struggling?
So I think really it's kind of taking a step back, taking a breath, like relax, we're okay. How are we going to solve these problems or issues or struggles together? One of our core values is relentless. And, um, the way we view the word relentless is battling through adversity together. So it's really trying to solve the problems as a group, as a team, not just like me telling people what to do, like using the players themselves too to help solve the problems.
Yeah, what was one of your like biggest struggles like going into starting a head coaching position like without any prior like what was your biggest, what was the hardest thing about that?
Yeah, it was a lot of learning early on. And I think managing different personalities and coaching each person in the way that works best for them. It took it, I'm still learning how to do that now. And, we have a pretty big team and everyone learns differently and wants different things out of the game. Like, you might have certain players that don't want to play after college and managing, how hard you can push them. And then other kids who want to play hockey after college and you can maybe push them a little bit harder and just kind of like
Mhm.
learning all of that has been the most difficult part for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Tell us about an occasion you're proud of when you were able to install a sense of motivation to one of your players or more of your players.
Hmm.
There was a lot of that, but
Yeah.
I know it's hard to
Well,
like.
I even think about coaching Leah. Um, I think it was us together refining Leah's love for hockey, um, and making it fun. And I think making the game fun and enjoyable and helping, like me teaching Leah in the way that Leah wanted to be taught or learn the best while making it fun was motivating for her. It's a matter of like finding what motivates each player. And for Leah, it was having fun and like learning things in a fun way.
Yeah.
Is that right, Leah?
That's you got it right on.
All right.
Yeah, well, piggyback off that. Do you see yourself as a role model for these athletes and for the team and for women on playing high school sports?
I really hope to be a role model. Every person's path is different, but um, being able to play at a high level really makes it like what word? I don't want to say easy, but it kind of puts you in that role model position.
Yeah.
And being a coach puts you in that role model position. And I really strive to be a good role model for my players, showing up to the rink every day with a plan, ready to go, focused, working hard to like make a good plan and make a good team, and motivating my players. I hope to be that role model so they want to show up to the rink focused and ready to go and ready to work hard in those ways too.
Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are your visions or hopes for the team's future?
I think it's really a matter of progressing through the season. We start at a certain point, and our schedule early this season is really, really difficult. And so I think, not necessarily just seeing this goal at the end of the season of a certain record or making it to state or those kinds of things. I think really for us this year, especially with how young our team is really a process of being better at the end of the season than the way we started. I think there is a long way to go to get to those goals of like state and those kinds of things. But yeah, early this season we play one of our conference opponents who's kind of a rival for us, then we play them later. And really the goal for me and us as a team is, whatever the outcome of the game is this week, make it a better outcome later this year.
Totally. Yeah. I like that. That's so what are your like off-season expectations of like players? What do you expect them to do prior to coming into the season?
Off-season expectations really just be active. There's certain players who want to play in college, and their expectation is that they are hockey specific training almost, at least 5 days a week, on the ice, off the ice, weightlifting, those kinds of things. And yes, you can have an off season where you're taking a break and recovering and all those kinds of things. But the expectation is that you're, training to be ready for the season. Maybe those players who aren't necessarily as hockey focused or, play hockey just for fun and to be with friends, the expectation is that you're staying active, playing another sport. There's some athletes on our team that want to play Division I lacrosse. And then, okay, your expectation is that you're training really hard for that sport, and that will still translate into hockey, like general athleticism, those kinds of things. So the goal and the expectation is a little bit different for each kid, but as long as they're doing something active, they'll come into the season ready to go. And, if they aren't in the lineup where they want to be, then maybe that off-season training and expectation and goals need to be different.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It seems like you've built like a really good culture, like for your team and everything. And with what you were saying, like with the last question, I was wondering, what is the percentage of time that you'd put into like fundamental skills versus like hockey strategy? Because like strategy is big in hockey, but do you think skill outweighs the strategy?
I think it depends on the team. My first season, we had a lot of really skilled players, and then it was like, okay, we can focus in on strategy to help bring us to that next level. But maybe a team with a little less skill, we spend more time on skills rather than strategy. Mm-hmm. Something that has kind of come about recently in discussions in our coaches room is kind of this like fundamental pyramid of like what you need to like learn the next thing. And it sounds a little cheesy, but I relate it to that like survival pyramid. I don't remember what it's called, but you need to have like food to survive, and then once you have food, then like shelter's your next focus and those kinds of things. And so skills is really that baseline, and each team is a little bit different. But I think early on in the season there's a lot of focus on skills, getting back into it, making sure we touch on the things that are, really important, that we've seen, like maybe since summer training, like, oh, this year our focus really needs to be stick on the ice, stick on puck. So we're going to spend a lot of time early nailing that down. And then that will translate into our, system structure later on when that becomes more important to our winning strategy.
Yeah, totally. I know I asked you like what was like the hardest part about coaching, but like do you have a specific moment in time that so far within 3 years or how many years you've been coaching so far that like it's just like the highlight so far of your like coaching career, or is there just
Oh my gosh.
it's hard. It's a hard question.
That is a really hard question. There have been a lot of highlights. I mean, I think one big highlight for me is you, Leah. Like, you know, how much you progressed in over your senior season was incredible. And I had so much fun coaching you, and you deciding to play college hockey and move on and to play for actually one of my former teammates is a huge highlight for me. I'm so proud of like the progress that you made, and it's really exciting to see one of your players really fall in love with the game and go from, am I going to play hockey? Am I not? To wanting to play at that next level and, doing so well at it now. And you seem to really continue to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
that's a massive highlight for me as a coach.
That was a highlight for me as well. I'll be honest. Like that, yeah, you totally helped me bring the love for hockey back. And I obviously we talk about that, like having fun about in hockey is like one of the biggest things. But this is honestly, that is like most of our questions. It was supposed to be just a quick, really short interview, but yeah, we thank you so much for joining us and like,
oh my gosh, of course.
Time for this. I know it's like not a lot, but we appreciate you.
Anytime, Leah. Anytime you need anything. Okay. Just let me know.
Thank you so much.
Yes.